Hello, hello, marking your phasing royals. How are you? We are back with Tuesday's virtual coffee with Noha, of course, and in our theme this month, which is Be Do Have, we are having a conversation about be what you choose to be. All right. So I'll wait for a few of you to hop on and open it up on my laptop as well, so that I can see your comments if you are having comments. And yeah, please do join me. All right. I just, how have you been, by the way? For those of you who have just joined the group, thank you so much for being here. I know you have plenty of choices in the world, and I do appreciate that you are here and chose to come to this group. We are the castle of consciousness, and we are all your royal highnesses around here. So please do hop in, please do introduce yourself, please do let us know what you're about, who you are, and if you have a business, what business is it that you are in. All right. For those of you who are also new, there is a link somewhere in the group that gives you the opportunity to ask a burning question anonymously and privately to me, and I answer them here in the group. For now, I've dedicated, I think, Fridays. Well, it's just haphazard, but on Fridays I seem to be answering the questions, and I just did one last week Friday. So please, if there is a burning question, a question on your heart, an issue on your heart, then please feel free to share that with me. Your name is not required in that form, neither is your email address. It's just your question. All right. So let me get to it. So last week I announced the theme for the month, and the theme for the month, of course, is Be Do Have. It is since last week's the release of this group's theme that I have since started doing a training, or I'm introducing a training that is starting next week, which is specific to business owners for the Be Do Have of a conscious business. I want to do it a bit broader today about the be, and I said that because we have 3 weeks left of this month, that today I will do be, next week I will do do, and the week thereafter I will do have. But just to give a bit of a concept around how this is important in our lives. There are many of us that go through life assuming that we don't know what we want to be, what we want to become, what it is that we are unfolding to be. What is our soul's purpose? What is our mission? What is our highest vision of ourselves? And that is an erroneous way of thinking, right? Because I can bet your bottom dollar that I know that each and every one of us has got an inspired vision, right? A vision that we are so inspired by, but we don't often act on. Okay. And there are reasons why we don't act out on it. Sometimes we don't act on it because, oh, it's too big. Or we don't act on it because, who am I? Right? We don't act on it because we think those are just pipe dreams. I've got roles and responsibilities in this world, and that vision is nothing more than a pipe dream. But I can tell you now that in all likelihood, that vision, that glimmer, that glimpse of that vision keeps on repeating in your mind. It keeps on repeating in your mind, and more often than not, you're putting it out of your mind. So the premise of being and knowing what you're choosing to be comes from, first and foremost, being in a state of inspiration. Now, how do we get into a space of inspiration? Well, first and foremost, you need to know what it is that inspires you. You need to know what it is that deeply moves you, right? And more often than not, the things that move us are the things that we don't feel we have enough of yet in our lives, or that we feel that it is so damn important that it's aligned to a cause of some sorts. More often than not, maybe even some extreme challenge, some life-defining challenge that we have had in our lives, and often it's related to that. Now, it's not an exact science. I'm not going to pretend that it is an exact science. I am, however, going to say that in my TED talk in 2013, I made a statement and I said, show me your challenge and I will show you your purpose, right? It's not an exact thing of, oh, that is my challenge, and so therefore that is my inspiration and my purpose. But I find that if you start drilling down on those life-defining challenges, it eventually points you in the direction of knowing what your purpose is. Now, we all assume that this thing called purpose is something that we all must know right now, and it must be definitive, and it must be something that I go after right now, and that is what it is for the rest of my life. No, that's not true. Every day you live purposeful, hopefully, right? Every day you have purpose. Some days the purpose is, waking up to see to your kids or to go and earn a living for your family. Some days your purpose is to be there for a friend. Some day your purpose is to be there for yourself and to honor yourself and to love yourself. And so it goes on. But we are, in essence, evolving beings. And because we are evolving beings, we will evolve in our purpose as well. And it doesn't change completely become something completely different. It just becomes more refined. It becomes more and more refined. So I want to give an example of this. Many of you know by now that my son had 3 brain tumors, or had a brain tumor at 3 different times in his life, age 4, 5, and 12. This was a very pivotal moment in my life, and it was a life-defining moment. Now, does that mean I'm in the medical field today? Does it mean that I am, standing up for the cause of parents experiencing children with traumatic health experiences? No, not entirely. Because that was not the angle that hit me the most. The angle that hit me the most is that I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that psychosomatic reasons is the cause of all illnesses. And that if I sit to unpack, listen, go deeper, I'm going to understand what the lesson is, and that this is the disease. And I'm going to find my path, right? So for me, that was a defining moment. But when I look back, prior to my son having this life challenge, right, which became the family's life challenge, when I looked at the life-defining challenge, that life-defining challenge had certain incidences prior to that, not related to my son, but to me individually. There were certain things that was piquing my interest, and I wasn't paying attention. There were certain things that was kind of flicking me, behind the head or behind the ear, and I had a little bit of an interest in it, but I didn't do anything with it. But some things I did take action on. And in taking action, it helped me to become more available and present in the time of my son's challenges. That has further evolved in, after that, no human being should sit with emotional baggage that they haven't dealt with. That was my cause, and it became my mission. Okay? It still is part of my mission. And then as I grew from there, I realized, but it's not just our emotional baggage. It's the way we see the world. It's our perspective of the world. It's our self-awareness. It's the way we love ourselves and the way we lack in loving ourselves. And that grew from there to a deep sense of spirituality and consciousness. And then that grew from there to combine with entrepreneurship. Although I've always been, not always, but for the last 15 years, I've been an entrepreneur. But I found that this concept of consciousness was not separate in any part of our lives. And it was woven in the fabric of who we are. And so right now, in this part of my life, that is what I choose to be. I choose to be a consciousness coach. I choose to be working on my consciousness. I choose to be a spiritual being. I choose to be learning more and more about that area. So where is it a void in my life? Because everything that you perceive as your highest value, your most important facet in your life, the purpose-driven thing, is also going to be that thing that you perceive you don't have complete yet. I don't feel complete in consciousness, right? I don't feel complete in knowing everything that I think there is to know about spirituality. I don't think that I am complete in knowing everything there is to be or to know around self-awareness and entrepreneurship and running a conscious business. So it is a void of mine until such time that I feel like actually I know all of this, I've done all of this, I've experienced every angle that I've chosen or thought there is to be experienced, and then something else takes over, right? The next phase or the next part of that purpose. Now, why am I telling you all this long damn story? Because we need to look within. We need to look within what it is that we want to be. But in order to know what it is that we want to be, we need to know what the fuck stands in our way of being that. Now, for many years before, what was standing in my way of being that was I felt I needed to learn more and more. I needed to know more and more. I needed to get the next modality. I need to hire the next coach. I needed to, there was always a facet that I felt I was missing. And it took my husband to have a conversation with me one day and said, "What are you running away from?" Excuse me? What am I running away from? No, I'm not running away from anything. Okay? Very much on the defensive. I'm not running away from anything. I'm learning to become better, he says. But that's under the assumption that you don't feel you're good enough yet. Oh, ouch. And he was right. He was right in assuming that at that point, and I didn't see it. And so I delved a bit deeper. I started checking myself. I did the inner work. I realized, and because my teachings teach me that, anything that you seek on the outside is because you haven't seen it on the inside. In other words, you will not be seeking something outside of yourself if you have found it already within you. And anything that you are seeking on the outside, be it an experience, be it a material gain, be it a feeling state, be it behavior, be it a value, is already sitting within you. You only need to tap into that. So, why does being become so important? It is the driving force of what you choose to put out into the world, who you choose to become more and more of, because becoming is not a finite ending thing. It is important, particularly for business owners, because who you choose to be is going to help you define your identity so that the right people, the right clients can find you. If you don't know who you want to be or who you choose to be, then those people who are most aligned to you cannot see you. They cannot see you on social media. They cannot see you out in the world. They cannot see you even when you are right in front of you, or in front of them. So having a strong sense of who you are, a sense of purpose, and then a sense of worth and value within that, and because of that, that's what sets you apart from everyone else. It's when you are energetically aligned to who you are in truth, without hiding the parts of, oh no, I can't be that. Oh no, I can't have that. Oh, I can't do that. Who am I? So it stands to reason then that if you want to become more, if you want to have more, because that's the thing that I find most people are stuck on. I find most people are stuck on that they're wanting more, right? They're wanting to have more. But you can't have more until you start becoming more first and foremost. And then start doing more aligned to that which you are being. And the beautiful result of that is that you will have that which you choose. It's kind of systemic methodology almost in certain aspects. Part of the being also is about who you choose, or besides for who you choose, but how is your state of being, right? So in other words, you know, the cliched wording that often drops everywhere is that, oh, you are a human being, not a human doing, right? So stop doing, take time out to just be, take time out to just allow yourself to meet yourself. Now here's the other thing again. When we sit and we want to meet ourselves in whatever form you do that, you would be doing it through meditation, through chanting, through prayers, through journaling, through, I don't know, exercise, breath work. If that is whatever form you choose that to be in, please go and do that without the expectation of what you're going to get out of it. Just go and meet yourself. Just go and meet your divine spark within. Just go and meet your higher self for the sake of knowing that higher self. To become familiar with that higher self. To get to know that higher self. Right? Because the more and more you get to know that higher self, that God spark within, that divine soul within you, the more and more you will find it easier and accessible to be. I find that the more and more we choose, or the more and more we don't do the work to get to know who we truly are, right? The more and more we move further and further away of truly meeting ourselves. And I'm going to be the first one, because I'm not going to bullshit you, right? But it's not always easy facing yourself. But I can tell you this, that when you do take the steps to get to know yourself and to face yourself and to be with yourself, just be with yourself, the rewards are beautiful. Life becomes light. And if I say light, I'm not just talking in weight. I'm talking about rays of light. And that doesn't mean that you walk with blinkers around in the world, particularly the way the world is right now. It doesn't make you turn a blind eye to what's going on in the world. In fact, it makes you probably feel more, but because you are now standing in presence. You see, because meeting yourself, being with yourself is presence. And when you meet yourself in presence and you become present, you are living life and taking actions on life from a space of groundedness. Now, if I had to say to you, are you grounded in your beingness, on who you are, in who you choose to become as you unfold? Are you grounded in that knowing? Are you grounded in knowing that you are unfolding? Or you're constantly looking for the more that you need to do, the more that you need to have, the things that you don't have, the things that you are not yet, the things that you are not doing. Because there's such an important facet that we miss when we do that. And that is to be very present in this moment, right here, right now. Does it take away from what you need to do? No. And next week I'll talk about that. I will talk about doing next week, because this ties into how do you take the beingness and how do you move that beingness to doingness. I often speak about inspired action, and you guys know that, right? Your inspired action cannot come from your lower mind. Your inspired action cannot just come from your logical mind. Your inspired action comes from your presence in being. That's where it comes from. And sometimes it seems fucking counterintuitive. I'm going to tell you that. I just wrote a post yesterday on my Business Academy group. And I was saying in there that I'm wanting them to watch the launch that I'm doing right now. And I'm saying that there are some things that I'm doing in the launch that I'm doing right now that I haven't taught before and I haven't spoken about. And that's because I'm just following what I'm feeling inspired to do, right? Without the questioning of, oh shit, is that right? Is that the right thing to do? Right according to whom? If it intuitively feels aligned to you, if it intuitively feels right for you, then it is right. Right? No need to go and look outside of yourself, my love. But again, that requires trust. It requires you to trust deeply in yourself and the universe. Right? It requires you to trust your higher self. Now, I am wanting to say one more thing about this. But please, do give me your comments. Please do let me know that you are here. I'd love to hear from you, from those of you who are here. I do also want to say that very often we think that, oh, you know what? If I've come across a part of me that I don't like, a part of me that I assume is lacking, a part of me that I assume is negative, that the one highlight or the one course of action that I need to do is to turn it into a positive. And I want to ask you to stop, please. Can you stop doing that? Can you stop trying to take your negatives and turn it into a positive? You're negating the wealth of knowledge that the negative gives you. And you're assuming that I must take all that is negative in my life and just flip it and turn it into something positive. You can't do that unless you've learned the lesson. The aim of life is not to be seeking either your positive or just your negative. It's to find your truth in the center. It's to find the equilibrium. It's to find the unconditional love and gratitude. And now again, as I always keep on saying, the gratitude is not just about that's going well in my life. The gratitude is for that life has given me, and I have seen what the lessons and the blessings is of what life has given me. I've seen the reason for its unfolding in my life, and therefore I'm grateful. Right? This whole, I'm going to take the plaster, put the plaster over the negative, and the plaster's name is positive plaster. Okay? You only created an imbalance of first and foremost your mind, of course, but you're chemically also creating an imbalance in your life, right? In your body. And when you chemically create an imbalance in your body, more often than not, that's when depression sets in, right? Because we holding on to an ideal of what we perceive it should be, and we're losing sight of what it is right now, what our true reality is right now. Okay, so yeah. Any questions that you have? Anything that you'd like to ask me? Please do ask them now. I'm happy to take your questions. For those of you who are, of course, in the business, in the world of business, if you haven't yet seen all of my posts on Nail Your Aligned Offer, which is my next free training, where have you been? It's all over social media, and I think some people probably may just have silenced me on social media for 30 days, right? Or hid me on social media for 30 days, but hey, that's life. But yes, if you are a conscious entrepreneur, you are someone who's, in the coaching, healing, change maker form of business, virtual assistant, graphic designer, I don't know, accounting for coaches, I don't know. If you are in that line and you are wanting to nail your next offer, your next launch, your next invitation to your soul-aligned clients, then please join us. The training is free. It's a very in-depth training. I'm busy designing the worksheets right now, which is, I will say it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, the work, and not by look, like as in aesthetically. The work in the worksheets. If you do the work, it's going to work for you. This much I know. Roshana says, "Nah, your energy is amazing. Thank you, my love. Everything you say resonates with my soul. Keep spreading the light and the love. You're truly admirable." Thank you, Roshana. Anything that you see in me is within you. So thank you so much, and I see the same in you. Any other questions or comments before I go? Remember, this is your platform, right? This is your platform for me to answer your questions. If there's something that you're wanting to know about becoming and being and following purpose and following your life's calling, then please do let me know. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to ask, and you know I never ask, okay? But I will ask. I absolutely will ask. I'm practicing having to ask for help. Don't you like it? A recovering martyr. I am going to ask for help. So for those of you who feel that you know other people who are on the seeker's path, on the path of consciousness, in business particularly, and then also life, please do invite them to this group. It is my intention and my desire to grow this group a bit more, and I'd love you to invite people who are like-minded and people who you know would want to probably choose to be here if they had known about the group. Just introduce them. They don't need to accept the invitation or not, right? And then also on my page, Noha S of the Conscious Maverick, or even my personal page for that matter, if you so feel inclined and if you so feel compelled, if you like what you saw, if you'd love what I'd written, then please do share it, so that more people can get to see the work that I do, and we can spread the conscious love. Adele says, "I rushed out of the sea where I was swimming with the dolphins to share this virtual coffee with you, and again, so worth it. Thank you. Also love you verbalizing the importance of asking for help. I can't imagine you've just left swimming with dolphins to come here, but I do appreciate it, my love. What I would give right now to go and swim with dolphins. But please do enjoy it, and thank you for your comment." All right. Okay, I'm not going to labor this point. I am normally only here for 30 minutes on average, and I'm reaching that time point almost now. If you have any questions, please do pop them. I will still be answering questions after this live broadcast, and spread the love, right? For now, I wish you love. I wish you vibrant light, and thank you for being here. Happy Tuesday. Goodbye.